The first night of Week 9 is in the books. Almost. Houston dominating Orlando on SFL N3. They still got some time left in that game as we're waiting for that game to finish up, as we had a delay in that one around the halftime. Open line, 210-473. We want to hear, 8428, sorry. Forgot the last four numbers. We want to hear from you. It's getting down to crunch time, and tonight Carolina gets the biggest win maybe since the team moved to Raleigh. (216). That's Ronnie Nickens. You're on the SFL Postgame Show. Good evening, Ronnie.
Hey, Cam. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Cleveland played a pretty good game tonight through, I would say, 2.5 quarters, and then things just sometimes special teams just do you in. And tonight, Maurice Spurgeon and that special teams return really put the Vipers behind the 8 ball, and it just couldn't get anything going after that.
Yeah, well, nothing for us to hang our head about. My coordinators did exactly as I asked them to do, and we're never going to back down from corners or whatever, no matter what their level. And we felt goal on goal, we'll take our chances. So hats off to the Skyhawks for a good game plan and getting the win. But as I said, we as the Vipers, we're not going to hang our head about it, because we don't play to lose, and we don't play scared.
Yeah, well, I think that's a good point, Ronnie. I mean, you got a one-on-one matchup with a gold on a gold, and we see in this league more often than not, it's typically the offensive player that wins that battle, and he just didn't tonight. Do you feel like that's basically the story of the game, where there was a win and a loss?
It probably was more. Probably some of the routes that were used, because if you saw it, most of the time when Scott King was put in those routes where he just went straight down the field, no type of having to make no change of direction or anything, he most of the time beat his man. And a couple of those passes were unthrown, so we'll take those and move on.
Yeah, I mean that's been the bread and butter of this offense, and so it's hard to. I'm sure as an organization, it's hard to go away from something that has elevated a player from sort of a non-factor in the first 2 weeks to the number 2 receiver in the league. I mean his go routes are so difficult to stop because he's such a powerful force. But Carolina definitely did the right things, I think, in prep this week, and sometimes you just it's just a tip of the hat to the other team, right?
Sure, he did a good job this week, and our hats off to them.
So where does Cleveland go from here? You obviously have the 3 best teams left in the conference. We don't ever want to count a team out until they're mathematically eliminated. But how does Cleveland, how do you take this and compartmentalize it and understand that there's a next season and there's 3 games left and hopefully you can make some noise and you're never out of it.
We look at this as we have 3 more games left in this year. No matter who the opponent, as we have stated previously, we fear no one. We back down for no one. And so we accept the challenge on whoever we have to play. They may be having a better season than us, but don't count us out.
Sure. Ronnie Nickens, owner of the Cleveland Vipers. What are you most looking forward to in the State of the League address that's tomorrow? I'm so excited.
For me, I just want to hear what the news is. Then I'll take it in and see what makes me happy or what makes me sad. But I, I'm just looking for us to move forward, and you have not disappointed in that area. So forward, we're on our way.
Well, we already know that that franchise fees are coming for next season, and that's something that you've long been a proponent of. So there's already some happy news right there for you, right? Because the league's going to be bringing in some money and becoming even more professional. So
it's always a good thing when the individuals that are in a league help support it.
Yep, I would agree with that statement, Ronnie. Ronnie Nickens, co-owner of the Cleveland Vipers. I'm sure your co-owner, Stevie T. Diggs, is just as dejected as things just didn't fall your guys' way tonight. Thanks for the time, Ronnie.
All I got to do is hold that head up because he's doing a great job.
All right, thanks, Mr. Nickens. Appreciate the time. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Open line now, 210-473-8428. I think Ronnie hit it right on the head. And I can appreciate that Cleveland did not shy away from going and attacking Carolina's gold corners tonight. I think that when you look at the numbers of Carolina's pass defense, and I'm trying to get those numbers here for you. Pass defensive efficiency, they're actually 15th. And I'll get that number here eventually. 442, you're on the SFL postgame show. Carolina's pass defense is 8th in the SFL, so you got to respect Cleveland there for taking a chance since they had the 5th-ranked passing offense coming in. Who do we have on the postgame show?
Hey, this is Ramos Wayne. Okay.
Hey, Ramos, congratulations on the victory tonight. It was another one of those tale of two half games in Los Angeles, and your guys really prevailed tonight in a game that some may have seen as maybe a trap game for Santa Fe, because that's a tough team right now.
Yes, it is. It's a hot team. First of all, great game for Doug Bose and the rest of the LA staff. This is a fantastic LA team that they have. Mark Keachel, you know that at any time he can break a 90-yard touchdown. So I'm glad we were able to contain him, and glad Calvin Kim had another great game.
Yeah, Jay Calvin Kim. I mean, let's talk about this kid. As you said, I think you said in the chat, I love having this kid on my team, or I don't know what you said, but he had another great game tonight, and he was averaging 51 yards a carry coming in. His average is probably going to go up after tonight. This is unprecedented. I have not seen a bronze running back play this well in the SFL, maybe ever, or at least in a long time. What's the magic?
I'm not sure what's the magic. I believe we just have a great offensive line. I believe we have a great quarterback, a great group of receivers that can block as well. So team is pretty good. I don't know, and there's no secret magic into it. I just think that we are just clicking on all cylinders pretty well.
Was it nice playing a game here recently that didn't come down to the wire for you guys? Because you've had a few in the last few weeks that have done that.
Yeah, we did, and it feels good to win by a comfortable margin. But really, the score does not indicate really how good this LA Shark team is with Marnak Mock and Heechul and Treefeather and all those guys. So even though we won by about 20 points, I'm not sure. LA, it's a heck of a team.
In the Teal Conference, we've got Orlando just laid an egg tonight on the road, which they tend to do early in the season, not necessarily this late in the season. They fall to 4-5. Houston improves to 3-6. You got Minneapolis at 4-4, but they have to go to OKC, whereas the Renegades play significantly better at home than they do on the road, at least so far this season. And then And then you've also got LA at 4-5. How do you see this Teal Conference shaking out?
It's crazy. You never know who's going to win against whom. You never know. That's the greatness of the SFL, that you never know each and every week. There are teams that at one point they have like 50 points, and then the next game they only have 7, and they play not as good, but they are going to bounce back. You know that they are going to bounce back. So I'm not, in this case, it's just the SFL being the SFL, and every team is great. That's the reality of it.
Ramos, we've got the State of the League address tomorrow. I know that you work on weeknights. Are you going to be able to join us?
Yeah, for sure. I'm making my way in to join all of you.
What are you most excited about hearing about on the address?
Something like, hey, the Santa Fe Gorillas are guaranteed the next 10 championship. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not sure. Just the news. What's new in the SFL, and I'm really excited on how well this league is moving forward. So I'm really excited about everything.
Ramos Lynn, owner of Santa Fe. Good to hear from you. And who would you give the game ball to? I know you do a good job giving game balls out to your squad. Who would you give it to tonight?
I will give it to the offensive line this week. They did a fantastic job protecting Matt Wilson and open up the holes for Jake Calvin-Kim to get 3 touchdowns, and they kept Wilson clean. So the offensive line gets the game balls.
Was it? I know you guys didn't have any sound on your game tonight. I apologize for that. Was it just as fun watching it with no sound?
No, that's fine. Either way, sometimes, to be honest, when we are in the SFL 2 or 3, I just mute the sound just to listen to the SFL 1. That's your commentary, and that's what I'm looking for.
There you go. Different strokes for different folks. Ramos, we appreciate the time, and congratulations. You and Sioux Falls, I'm telling you, battle in Week 12.
Yeah. Wow, that's going to be exciting.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Open line 210-473-8428. Yeah, really nice game, really nice night tonight from Santa Fe. It was 24-24 at the half. And then Los Angeles, again, they just couldn't figure things out in the second half, and that was even after a pick 6 that Santa Fe had from Cesar Romero in that first half of work. We've got some numbers from that game that we'll get to in a moment, but first we want to hear from the owner of the Houston Hyenas. Damon Simeon is on the call on the SFL Postgame show, and is your game final now, sir?
5 seconds left in the game.
5 seconds left. Well, congratulations. I mean, you thump Orlando and get a game that you absolutely had to win. So what were you most pleased with? Steve Abuaji's excellent, methodical game on offense, or the performance out of your defense tonight?
I got to give it to the defense. I most definitely have to give it to the defense as far as the way how they kept Zach Parker in check. Zach Parker's a very explosive back, and Payet, however you pronounce his name, Connor, is a very great quarterback. He can make great passes, whether it's deep down the sideline, deep over the middle, short routes or whatever. I mean, great. The guy is very accurate and throws it. So, but I really have to give this game a ball to the defensive side.
Yeah, good point. 29 yards on 12 carries for Zach Parker. I had not realized that he had that poor of a performance. You want to guess your completion percentage for your quarterback tonight?
88?
90. You're
Wow.
right there.
Oh,
19 of 21 for 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. So what changed for the offense this week, do you think?
I mean, the offense, it's pretty much has been the same, I just added, few adjustments or so. Wasn't much, but I think it has to do with the game plan, the defensive game plan that Greg put together, that it really helped out the offense. Sorry.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great game. Matthew Boozer forced a fumble. That defense was all over the place. And Houston gets a huge win. Sioux Falls is next on the plate. Obviously, a game that Houston probably feels like they also need to win to stay in the
Hmm.
hunt. It is in your house, so that
Hmm.
has to help you out a little bit. But what have you seen out of Sioux Falls, particularly in recent weeks, and especially in that rout over Oklahoma City that I think most people probably would have been a bit surprised at?
Yeah.
What is the key to Sioux Falls, especially with that swing pass versus Jordan Jennings conversation?
Well, I'm gonna give everybody a tip. Take cover two out your playbook. I don't have it at all in mine, and that's the key. Sioux Falls like to beat you on the meat and then try to sneak you over the top. So we're pretty much going to focus on matching up with Jennings and pretty much taking him out of the ball game.
Hey, there you go. That's some good strategy. You wouldn't be trying to give some smoke and mirrors to Jason McGee to throw him off your game.
No, not at all. I don't bull job nothing.
uh, yeah, Houston, and he's probably sitting there thinking, "Oh, well, okay, I see. They're on to
Yeah,
us." Um,
yeah. We was robbed. We was robbed the last two games.
yeah, I'm sure you feel that way, and it's easy to feel that way, and you would be 5-4 or 4-5 with those with those two games, and every victory is so crucial in this league. But how did the team move on from those this week, and just focus on Orlando and sort of right the ship at a time that you could have easily sort of tossed it in and said, we're done here.
And that's pretty much where I was at, Cam. I was at the point where, hey, I'm done with this season. But I have a great defensive coordinator and head coach in Greg Morris that called me up and say, hey, this is not going to happen again. I guarantee the offense is not going to dominate the first half and the defense below it in the second half. And Greg, my head buddy, appreciate.
Hey, Damon, you're breaking up a little bit.
Yes, you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're breaking up like SFL N3. I got you now, though.
Okay. No, I was saying that I was at that point where that I was about to give up on the season.
Right. Yeah, we heard
but
that. We just missed your shout out to your coach. That's all.
Okay, I was just shouting out to Greg Morris. Thank you for taking care of business on the defensive side and everything you do for the organization, buddy.
Yeah, was there any part of you that at halftime, after building that lead, you thought, oh man,
Here we go again. Yep, I sure did.
I bet you did. I mean, it's easy for it to creep into your mind, isn't it?
It did this week. It did last week versus Santa Fe. I was like, okay, here we go. Let's see how we hold up.
In the chat, and I'm not afraid to give people their public space or opinion. In the chat tonight, you seemed a bit frustrated by an earlier conversation from inside the SFL this morning. Do you care to address that in any way?
I most definitely would. What happened was that the situation with the offensive coordinator and Alan Drum was that Greg, reached out to Alan. I reached out to Alan myself. Alan did not respond back to Greg's message. Alan responded to me like minutes before we decided to make changes to the playbook last week versus Santa Fe, and he decided to ditch the Houston Hyenas and go ahead and do the Inside the SFL show. So if you're not going to be dedicated to my team, I'm not going to be dedicated to you. So I called Alan and I spoke to Alan nicely and calmly, and I say, hey, we're going to decide to, I'm deciding to release you of your play calling duties here with the Houston Hyenas, and so he told me that I was talking about him behind his back as far as his player. J.D. Lawson, I told him, no, I wasn't talking behind your back.
J.D. Lawson had two picks tonight, by the way.
Yeah, he had 2 picks tonight. No, I'm talking about last week.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying he played great tonight.
Yeah, he played awesome tonight. Yeah, most definitely. He played awesome tonight. In the second half last week, he looked kind of confused. I said, I just posted a little comment. I said 30. I didn't say a name. I said 33 looked lost and confused on that play. So he took that personally. He took that to heart. Now, let me say this here. Allen is a very, very selfish individual. It was very, very wrong of him to take over that show the way he did today and make it all about him. That was not class. That was not the way the SFL runs its business. And I was very, very hurt by the way how he kept going on and bringing the whole conversation up about his experience here with Houston. You can ask anybody who's within his organization. I have never disrespected anyone. I have never called anyone out their names. When conversation has got it heated in my channel, I have calmed both parties. I don't have time for the drama. So, Mr. Drum, congratulations to you on the new organization you're going to. I hope you have fun. I hope they're ready for the drama that comes along with you.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what ends up as the result. But the result for Houston tonight is an overwhelming victory over Orlando, a division opponent. And next week you have Sioux Falls, and Houston's season appears to be getting back on track. So congratulations, Damon, and the rest of the Hyenas organization.
Oh, by the way, I was the one who turned his offense around. It wasn't Allen. He's afraid to pick plays that goes deep across the middle. Have a good night.
Have a good night, Devon. Okay. Open line now, 210-473-8428. Houston obviously moving on from a situation that was not healthy, and they moved on to a 27-point victory tonight over Orlando. Houston improves to 3-6. We also had Santa Fe over Los Angeles tonight, and we're going to get you the final numbers on that game, as well as we already broke down some of Houston and Orlando statistics. If you'd like to call in, 210-473-8428. Matt Wilson, 35 of 43, 344 yards on the road. He did throw 2 picks with 2 touchdowns. J. Calvin Kim's final numbers, 16 carries, 116 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Los Angeles going to need to fix some of their defensive deficiencies. Bobby Treefeather, another brilliant game for L.A., 13 catches for 150 yards and 2 scores. Juan Bosco was Santa Fe's leading receiver with 9, 104, and 1. And on the defensive side of the ball, it was Adam Okoye with 10 tackles for the Gorillas, and Cesar Romero, 6 tackles, a pass defended, and he also had a pick 6 tonight. And it was a pretty good night for Cesar Romero and the rest of that Gorilla team, who jumps back ahead of Sioux Falls for the time being. The Sparrows take on the Tallahassee Pride Wednesday night on SFLN2. Andy Hamilton will have that call. And if anyone else, last call to anyone else who wants to join in on the SFL postgame show, as our final score from Raleigh tonight was 28-20. Some final notable stats from this game in Carolina. Cleveland had more first downs, more total yards, more passing yards, but they really struggled on third down, 3 of 13, and their field position also was poor. They started average from their own 22. Carolina owned 35, and 3 turnovers turned into 7 points, which eventually was the difference in the ball game. So Cleveland won a lot of battles tonight, but they just didn't win on the scoreboard. Maurice Spurgeon with that huge kickoff return. Jamison Monroe, nothing flashy, but 10 of 14 for 137 yards, did throw a couple of picks, but he played a pretty decent game. Savage did as well outside of the 3 interceptions by Blake Chance, who dominated that matchup. Johnny English finishes with 202 yards, 37 carries, and a couple of touchdowns. And Scott King's final night, 9 for 196 and 2 scores. Bruno Capone had 16 tackles. Avery King had 10. Maurice Spurgeon had 10. And the final numbers for Blake Chance, 3 tackles, 3 passes defended, plus 3 interceptions. What a night for Blake Chance. 334, you're on the SFL postgame show.
Hey, Commish. This is Shan, Carolina Sky Hawks.
Shan, you talked to me earlier this week about trying to tone down and make Jamison Monroe more of a role player in the offense and limit his problematic turnover abilities, and that's exactly what happened tonight. You have to be pleased.
I am. We wanted to limit his throwing. We thought that, I guess I was putting too much pressure on Jameson to make difficult throws. So we try to keep the throwing the interceptions. We try to keep that to a minimum. We try to throw the ball short and use English as much as we could.
Yeah, and you did tonight. English showed up big time. The last time you guys got a victory was against Sioux Falls. That game was all about your offense and what they did when Jay Holder and Johnny English and that rushing attack just sort of blitzed them from all sides. But tonight, come on. I mean, you got to give it to Hamilton. His defensive scheme was outstanding.
Oh, it was. And we prepared for it. We prepared last week against Louisville. Unfortunately, things didn't go our way in that game. Louisville is an amazing team. All we can do is just plan from week to week and try to get the W. But Andy's defense is always a stellar defense. I can't believe we're not ranked more than 8. But we do give away the deep ball at times, but yeah, it's a great defense.
Queen City comes your way next week. They got their offense moving and their team moving last week against DC. It'll be interesting to see if they take that momentum into Dallas. But these are the type of games that this franchise so desperately wants to win after being 5-6 last year. And losing that game in Tallahassee, a game that I'm sure everyone in Carolina wishes they could have back. Now you're 3-6, potentially trying to get to 4-6, and this, do you feel like this defines your season in terms of a success or failure? Because this is your moment to win that big game like you did tonight against Cleveland.
Yes, I think that if we just play our game, scout, do our homework, have our guys prepared, we should be ready for Queen City. I think that the biggest thing with Queen City is it's a must-win for us. I think we have to play smart and not rely so much on the defense, which, the defense is a stellar part of our playbook, but just have to take one game at a time, Cam.
Shan, the State of the League address is tomorrow night. What are you most excited about as a new era of the SFL begins?
Just see where the league goes. I'm excited. I'm excited if any changes come up, but especially the hype is being built, and looks like a lot of people are happy. Some people may be sad. I don't know, but it seems to be epic. So definitely going to tune into that for tomorrow.
Shan, congratulations on the big victory tonight, and on Johnny English's big day, and the first rushing touchdown for Jay Holder too. We can't forget that, and on a victory and keeping your season alive. Appreciate the time.
Yes, sir. You're welcome. Thank you so much. You have a good night.
You too. All right, we're going to call an end to the SFL post-game report tonight. Final scores one last time. Cleveland 20, Carolina 28, Houston 34, Orlando 7, and Santa Fe 48, Los Angeles 31. Wednesday night on the SFL Network in the spotlight, it is Minneapolis and OKC, a crucial game in the teal. Tallahassee will try to turn their season around. They got to go to Sioux Falls as they face their former Pride teammate, George Jennings. And also Queen City and Dallas. We'll see if the Corsairs will be one game up on Carolina before their Week 10 matchup, or both teams will be 3-6 heading into the season. And we'll see if Dallas can keep pace with Baltimore in a battle for the second spot in the Gray Conference. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Cameron Irvine. This has been a presentation of the Simulation Football League. Good night, everybody.